The Dynamics of Digital Media Design is a project that aims at integrating design technology with the fundamentals of human expression. I am Randa Al-Juhani, Assistant Professor at the Computer Science Department at Prince Sultan University.
I am Orkida Faiz, Assistant Professor at the College of Humanities, and my role is to provide an interdisciplinary contribution situating the project within the digital humanities, an emerging discipline lying at the intersection of humanities and computational tools.
Thus, the study aims at constructing a frame of media design that goes beyond using technology as a tool into a more developed model of human technology relationships of self-expression. In doing so, we challenge the history of viewing technology as an object which leads to the utopian dystopian debate. Both post-phenomenology and transmedia storytelling achieve a more conclusive view of technology that reflects how we view ourselves, our identities, and how we view the world around us, which in turn offer audiences a more immersive experience.
Don Ide's post-phenomenology is closely tied to the philosophy of technology, a field that concerns itself with human-technology relationships. It lies at the core of this study in an attempt to apply the conceptual frame defining the various aspects of our interactions with technology. On the other hand, transmedia storytelling, as introduced by Henry Jenkins, offers the integration of various media, which is technology, as part of the human experience reflected in the design and contributes to its overall experience.
The scope of the study covers branding, animation, and game design as fields where the principles of design technology require an advanced level of computational competence to create engaging content. The products encompass the design and development skills of game design, 3D animation, and branding. The software used are Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, Blender, and Unity. In such case, the software represents the technology, and it is by human interaction that they gain meaning that comes from the designer's own life experience for the purpose of capturing audience imagination.
Don Ide's unique vision of technology is that it is primarily praxical, post-phenomenological. Ide claims there is a natural kinship between the arts, be it humanities, such as literature, languages, history, rhetoric, painting, sculpture, and composition, and post-phenomenology. He acknowledges that the humanities and arts provide the disciplinary knowledge and pedagogical method for inculcating the imaginative and creative practices needed to develop multi-stable critical thinking skills.
Transmedia is conveying a narrative through different media modes using technology. It has implications for both the media design and the audience perception. The software or technology of choice assume an active role that dictates the narrative, whether being static, active, or interactive. In this case, the level of competence about the technology involves idea relations of alterity or background based on how well the designer is comfortable using the software. And the relationship changes with acquiring knowledge about the software during the design. Ironically, the very nature of branding is to create an identity of a product, which adds another layer of complexity for the designers, as they use the product to create a narrative of their choice through the characteristics of their brand. In this case, a healthy product overpowers the design and the message, making it a hermeneutic exercise of meaning and reflection. The citrus multicolors and the prevalence of green are the manifestation of the message.
Thus, it makes sense that in each design, the content has to center around self identification, embodied relations, or understanding the world, hermeneutic relations, which in turn is reflected in the narrative or the story, while gaining competence in the chosen medium of expression, the technology. Ironically, the very definition of branding is to create an identity of a product which is translated into the facets of media, such as logo, letterhead, business card, poster, presentation slides, and of course, logo applications. Unlike branding, the animation allows for more freedom of expression as the design is rooted in a story, a narrative. The designer merges two principles of storytelling, one ancient by bringing a fairy tale or a magical story as the frame of the animation, and a modern component when the punishment for drinking a potion with an impure heart is to turn into a robot.
Creating a 3D animation is one of the most advanced forms of media production, not only in terms of high competence of technology, but also in the experience it provides as it transforms the experience into a more lifelike video. The animation looks real, and so it does contribute to the effect of moving the technology to the background while engaging completely with the story.
Finally, game design represents the ultimate challenge of applying the praxis of ID and the engagement of the audience of the transmedia storytelling of Jenkins. The design itself requires full interactive requirements. The two projects used as a case appear very different, but both follow the pattern of embodied technology relations, hermeneutic technology relations, and the interactive engagement the game offers.
As the game designers described, Elixir is a pixelated platform game with an interesting story that occurs in a witch-themed setting. The protagonist faces an external conflict with nature throughout the game. The player need to collect certain game objects such as potions to progress through the game and resolve the conflict. The game consists of one level where the player can explore the story through it.
Obviously, the design expresses the influence of the mainstream culture of the fantastic fairy tales and magic that is sweeping multiple forms of Western media production, even though all the design team is from the Middle East. The story of their choice reflects the global element affecting youth sharing the media experience of their generation, and choosing to express a similar narrative is an indication of their unique hermeneutic view, especially as technology unifies their experience with others of their generation, regardless of national boundaries.
The second project, Kataya, as described by the designers, is a low poly RPG adventure game that takes place in a land corrupted by the seven sins, where the player takes the role of Kai, the protagonist in the game. The player can venture across the land, visiting a variety of habitats in search of the seven sins, where the goal of this game is to beat all the seven sins and return to the world to its natural state. The more the sins the player defeats, the stronger they get to take down even far more dangerous sins.
The forces at play in the design can be a blend of embodied and hermeneutic relations, as the narrative can be a reflection of the identity of the designer, who chooses to symbolize the obstacles of the game as sins. The very word kataya is the Arabic word for sins. On the other hand, the mode of expression being a video game is the transmedia representation, resulting in a new form of experience for both the designer and the audience playing the game. Finally, at a time of social distancing, it is through technology that we were able to give this presentation today. Thank you for watching, and for further discussion, please contact the Digital Humanities Research Group at Prince Sultan University.